Hello there, welcome to my channel. This video is about me starting to build my square drop trailer, and this is just me getting the trailer ready for the project. In this clip you can see me taking off the old hitch coupler. It was rusty and it wasn't working properly, so I decided to take it off, and I'm glad I did because underneath it was also very rusty. You can see it struggled a little bit to come off there. And then I proceeded to take off the old chains. I just wanted to upgrade them. I felt a little safer if I did that. And as you can also see here, that the chains were also a little tough to get off. I then took off the back tail lights. I took them off just because they were old and they were broken and the wiring was not well. And again, I just felt better just replacing them completely, which you will see in an upcoming clip. I didn't bother snipping the wires. I just thought I'd just break them off because I was replacing the whole wiring harness anyways, so that's why I'm just putting my foot on the frame and just pulling with all my might there. I then pulled the wiring harness through the frame, and you'll see in a second that I did get caught somewhere, but that was all resolved and it came out lickety split. I then used my wire wheel to grind off some of the rust on the tongue there because I was going to install the new hitch coupler right away. You'll see now I started to install the new chain. I felt more comfortable using the grade 8 bolt, and they're just stronger than others. I will say that doing these chains is a bit harder when you got sausage fingers. You'll see me struggling and I keep dropping the bolt and stuff, but it ended up working. I then installed the new hitch coupler. I got this one brand new and it was pretty cheap because of where I work. Again, you'll see me using the grade 8 bolts, and again I felt more comfortable using those. I did also add some lock washers there to make it extra sturdy. Wire wheeling the stickers off was a very satisfying process, and in a couple clips from now you will see that I got a close-up shot of it. I then flipped over the trailer to allow me to get the rest of the sticker on the bottom there that you can see me getting at now. And now I started with the wire wheeling of the frame. I do have a lot of clips of this because there was a lot of rust on this trailer. Thankfully, I don't think any of it was fully through. You may notice a couple holes in some spots, but I wasn't too worried about them. And something coming up here is something I did not know my camera did, and that is automatically zoom in on me. And And here are some more clips of it zooming in on me. I do apologize, but it's kind of important information that I couldn't just cut out of the video. I then took off the axles. This was going to make the trailer easier to flip, and I did want to paint the axle by themselves instead of having it connected to the trailer. I did struggle with these bolts. I know that I could have just grinded through them all the way, but I thought I was all the way through. You will notice there's a little bit of grease marks over there. I did try to spray some penetrating oil on it and take it out with an impact, but none of the impacts we had were strong enough, so I ended up just grinding them off, and then you'll see in a future clip that I replaced them with some grade 8 bolts. Here's where I started to flip over the trailer for the first time. You'll notice there was a lot of standing around from me just because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it with just one person, but you'll see in future clips that I did eventually do it right there. Look at me go. I then did a lot of wire wheeling on the underside of the trailer to get ready for the paint. I then started spray painting the tongue. I just used some rust coat from where I work, and it seems to work well. I then wire wheeled the axle because I was going to paint it. I didn't think I was going to, but I decided to just make it look nice the first time. I then covered the wheels in a plastic bag so that I wouldn't get paint all over them, just as a precaution. And then I started painting and made it look beautiful. This is when I put together the wiring. I had got a roll by the foot from where I work, and I connected it to the 4-post connector that I got for the trailer. I then used some wire to feed the tail light wiring through the frame. I then taped the wiring to some parts on the frame so I could get a better understanding of how much wire I would need to wire up the tail lights. I then did the same thing I did on the other side, and I fed the wires through the frame using a piece of wire. I then wired up the tail lights. I had to make sure I connected the right wires so that when I put on my turn signal, it would actually go bright instead of going dim. And here's a sneak peek at the finished result of the wiring. It worked out perfectly. I then installed the axle again, and I got new bolts, as you'll see in a second, for it. Just stronger ones because I cut the other ones apart. I really had to wiggle the axle around to be able to line up the holes, as you'll see, but it's all worth it. Here I was just measuring where the metal cross members were so that I knew where to screw into for my plywood board. Here I was laying down PL Premium so that the board would stick down firmly, and you'll see my dog was very interested in this step. Here's where I started laying down the plywood. I had to be careful so that I wouldn't smear the PL Premium, but you'll see I grabbed a jack stand to hold up one end and it really helped. You'll see I had to use clamps there because the self-tapping screws I had weren't long enough, so I had to go back the next day because I glued down the board late at night. This is when my phone started to lose video time, so you'll see it just cuts out at certain times, which was not planned. Here you'll see I was just securing the loom that was holding some trailer wires just to make sure it wouldn't go loose while in transit. Here is when I started spraying on the rock guard. It would just prevent the wood from getting rotten from the water and prevent it from getting damage from rocks kicking up. And this concludes this video. I will be posting more videos as I continue to build this square drop trailer. Thanks for watching.